That's right. I absolutely agree. You know, something that the Quran says, the Quran talks about heaven and hell, you know, not being places, but being actually states of mind. So what we learn in the Moorish Science Temple of America is those particular lessons and exercises that allows for us to master our minds. So in mastering our minds, we know that we actually create, you know, our living conditions or our living mind space. You know, my brother Shay Rayil used to always talking about, you know, having the chaotic mind space versus the peaceful mind space, and the ability to create this space for yourself. And as Moorish Americans, somebody who knows themselves, they know that this ability, that this capacity actually exists within them. Islam. Brother Maurice Pennington Bay, Moorish master student. I'm here with my beloved brother Ricardo Bay. Islam, Muslim, how you doing?
Islam, feeling phenomenal, my brother. Just enjoying this beautiful sun in southern Arizona, Tucson, Arizona. So praise Allah.
Hey, boy, it get hot out there in Tucson, Arizona.
Oh yeah. You see it. We got palm trees and everything out here. You know, it's really paradise. You know.
You see, if you look at my background, you know that's where I'm from, man. That's Chicago, man. I got the city behind me, man. I'm on my way.
That's right.
You know, I've been waiting, man, anticipate my rebirth. You know, just coming there a whole new person. You know, I left a part of the problem. I plan on coming back. You know, a part of the solution. Islam, inshallah.
There you go.
So,
praise Allah. Praise Allah.
The State of the Union. All right. The Prophet Noble Ali said that this is the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. All right. So, you know, during that time, you know, when the Prophet was authoring, or when he was preparing our Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, there was only one temple. You know, it was not like it is today, where we have, you know, all of the various different grand bodies who, you know, each, you know, doing their work. But the Prophet Noble Ali still put that instruction in the Quran. This is the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, that was the Prophet Noble Ali, you know, prophesizing, you know, seeing into the future, knowing that this day and time that we live in would come. And he was also putting us in the proper mind space, so that when we do come in or move into this time, which we are, me and you and I, we are born into it, you know, especially as Moorish Americans. You know, that we would not, you know, be confused by the illusion of disunity. All right. So I want to talk about how, even though we are all, you know, under different leadership, different grand bodies, we all still know that there's only one God, whom we call Allah. We also know that he's known by various names worldwide.
That's right. That's right.
Various names worldwide, but it's only one God.
That's
you know, we also know that we bear witness that the Prophet Noble Ali is his prophet. You understand me? And that the Prophet Noble Ali did come, and he is the first Moorish American to ever walk upon the plane of things made manifest.
That's right. That's right. You know, praise Allah.
We also know that his divine and holy instructions are for our earthly and divine salvation. All of us know and understand these things. And all of us, to our own degree, we do our part in manifesting his divine plan.
That's right.
So I want to talk about that and get into some of the things that we're doing, you know, what we're working on.
Islam. Praise Allah. To that first point, you know, where the prophet is prophesizing about the uniting of Asia, right? You know, the prophet, we know that the prophet is a true and divine prophet. Just like Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. In fact, he is all of them come again. Islam. So when we look at what happened after the passing of Jesus, right? Muhammad, after Muhammad passed, Buddha, Confucius, right? He's, you know, division comes among the mortal men, right? Carnal men. They carve out different paths, different ways, and they call it something else. When really, when the prophet's on the scene, it's only but one. Islam, one Allah, right? We say one Allah, one prophet, one temple, right? So the prophet had to your point, put it within that context, because we are coming into this age and inheriting all of what the prophet brought, all of what the prophet taught. And we know that the prophet left his footprints clearly cut, so all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. Islam. So we are in the right place at the right time. Prophet said that this is a new era in time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Islam.
That's right.
So, it's up to us to continue to move the needle forward and build upon the great program that the Prophet Noble Drew Ali laid out for us, which is the Moorish Temple of America and its mission, which was founded for the uplifting of fallen humanity, right? And we're also to teach our members those things to make them better citizens as well. Islam. So, we have a duty from a divine sense, to the national sense, and it's up to us to be able to to take care of ones who are seekers after truth. Right? And making sure that they have a safe space to come, making sure that they have opportunities to come into, because we know the condition of our people here in America. We know, social. Prophet said, the ills of life, social, right, and economic, but in a more profound sense, they are moral and spiritual.
That's right.
See, so which takes us back to nationality, quality and character. We know the definition. We all know it. Nationality is the quality and character that arises from the fact of one belonging to a nation or state. So we got to go in and we got to propagate the faith, and we got to teach this doctrine that the prophet laid out for us here, Islam. And we have to change those minds. Prophet said, if I could get you to thinking, you can save yourselves. What is he implying? Is that we don't know what to think or how to think.
Islam.
The question is, are we even thinking? Islam.
Hey, listen.
You see?
I literally remember times when I wasn't thinking about nothing, man.
Come on.
I mean, literally. And then I remember when I started thinking. It was scary, and what was scary was how when I started to share my thoughts with other people, the way that they started to look at me. They started to look at me like, man, what you on, man? Like, you kind of ambitious. They say they start to question my motives, like, why are you thinking about everybody else? Why you want to do that? Like, man, you could just do this. And I started to ask questions like, why are our people so afraid? Like, why are people so afraid of change, especially good change? Why are we so afraid of a change away from the norm when the norm is hurting us so bad, when the norm is suffering? Like, why are we afraid to step out of a condition that's not favorable for us? And something that I learned, there are always people who capitalize off of the crises and the disasters that humans face. They even teach a course at the I don't know if they still teach it, but they was teaching a course in the University of Chicago about 14 years ago called disaster capitalism. Okay, where they were actually giving people degrees and learning on how to step in during the time of crises and disasters and pull out with money. Situations like Hurricane Katrina, or what happened in Haiti, or what's going on in Ukraine right now. That's a big market. Like, one's got to understand that when this war is over, Ukraine is going to need to be rebuilt. The people going to come back in and to populate that country, and them people, they're going to need places to go and buy food, and they're going to need places to go buy water. They're going to need movie theaters and all these type of things. And wouldn't America just love to have those be American businesses, American corporations? I mean, but this is the way, as a Moorish scientist, we are principled people. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice are the grand principles that this movement stands for. So we are not, morally allowed to establish a capital businesses or for-profit businesses on the backs of disasters and crises. While at the same time, we should be thinking about our future in the same way, in the manner that these other ones is thinking about their own future and planning on, how are my children and my grandchildren's children, how are they going to eat in the future? This is the job of leadership, to create programs that our members right now, and the children of our members and the grandchildren of our members right now, could go through the programs that we establish, and then the whole community at large can benefit and can grow. Remember that, we are appointed, consecrated, anointed to do what? Extend the learning. Not stagnate it or keep it the way that it is, but to extend it.
That's right.
The Prophet Noble Ali said that ours is a wheel inside of a wheel turning. It's turning, meaning that it's in motion. So there needs to be always the idea that progress needs to be made, no matter where we are. We always need to be building and building and building and building and establishing means for our young people to build even more. So this is what it's all about. So when we talk about the state of the union, we start asking ourselves those honest, real questions like, are we right now in a position to progress and to move forward?
That's right there. Like, that's so key. That's so key. Can you hear me, brother? I just want to make sure we're good.
Yes, I definitely hear you.
Islam, praise Allah. I got cut out here really quick, but let me be back. No, to your point, man, I think the majority of people are comfortable, is what it is. Change is unfamiliar. Change, well, you see, in not knowing creates fear. And when you can't perceive the next step, you don't go out on faith, because you don't know that it's going to work for you or not. You don't know whether it's going to work for you. And I think fear is one of the biggest killers, right? It says that the graveyard is where many dreams, aspirations, and goals die. You see, because of individuals or a collective of people's fear of taking action. You see, but that's why this organization that we're in is so crucial and so key to the success of our people, is because it is a thought organization. The Prophet is getting us to thinking again. See? And what we are thinking. Chapter 1. Allah and man are one. Allah and spirit man, the essence of who you actually are, is one. And when you look at Allah and all of his creation, we know that Allah is truth and truth is all, and all is Allah. Everything is Allah, right? And when we look at what Allah has created, when we come in to the understanding that Allah and man are one, that within itself is proof that you can go out and create whatever you wish to create.
That's right.
And that's why the Prophet teaches us, Allah never made that heaven that you blaming on him. He never made that that you putting on him. We're creators and we make our own.
That's right.
So as I mentioned to you before we got onto the camera, the thoughts influence our emotional state. The emotional state is what we act upon. What we act upon creates the experience or the result that we see before us. So if he's getting us to think a certain way, what to think and how to think in a certain way, success is inevitable. Success is inevitable, because he says that there is no failure for the human soul.
That's right.
Allah is leading on, and if Allah and man are one, Allah is leading on, and victory is sure, regardless of where you find yourself along the way. So we know that even in the striving and failure, we know that failure and success is one and the same. I used to have a mentor. He used to say that failure is only feedback. That's all it is. Failure is feedback, because you have to accept the good, what we perceive good, with the bad, what we perceive bad. It's about the culmination of the experience, because when you know that there's no failure for the human soul, then all is well. This is why I say, teach him religion, and his death shall be happy.
Death shall be happy. That's right.
There's no failure. There's no failure at all. So I think that's the biggest thing, my brother, is the fear. The fear, because ones haven't been taught to think or what to think. So that wall of fear gets in the way, and we remain stagnant and we remain comfortable with the conditions that we're in. And let's be honest, Because remember, like I shared with you, each of us where we are along the way. What Buddha said, we are the sum total of our thoughts, and I'll add word and deed. So each of us where we are along the road is exactly where we are, based upon how we've been thinking, what we've been speaking, what action we've been taking, will create the experience that we have currently present in our lives.
That's right.
So, oh, go ahead, brother.
No, I'm listening.
Islam.
Demonstrate. Yeah.
So like the fact that we have the instructions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, these are divine instructions. These are instructions for the spirit man, right?
That's
It said,
right.
"Oh, spirit man, direct the flesh," right?
Mm-hmm.
Direct the flesh. So the spirit, if man is a thought, what are you thinking about all the day? What are you thinking about? Because what we think about comes about because man is a thought.
That's right.
So if we're actually thinking the right thoughts, we can create favorable circumstances, regardless of whether it's going to work, whether it's not going to work, whether your friend is going to help you build it, your mother, your auntie, your uncle is going to be there with you. Doesn't matter. When we learn to think the right thoughts and we learn to act in the right way, we will create the right results and conditions. And that trickles down through the generations, you see. So the next point I was getting to is we have the instructions, but we got to first believe it. Believe that this works. But the prophet said, do you think your conditions can be better? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You see? So you have to first think. And we know that belief, in order to believe, you have to think about something enough.
That's right.
Right? Because it says that belief is what man thinks perhaps it's true.
It's true. That's right.
So you're trying to ascertain the truth about it. You're trying to separate the truth from the falsehood so you could get right to the truth of what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this true? Do I actually believe? We got to ask ourselves and be real with ourselves. How many of us that got these divine instructions actually believe them? You see, let me tell you where many of us are at. We in the lower, because the lower want to be at faith and fruition when spirit man ain't even get to belief yet.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You have to believe, and we've been downplaying belief. We downplay belief, but belief is the most important step.
It's the first
foundation.
step. That's right.
It's the first step.
That's right.
Belief. What man thinks perhaps is true. Faith. Once you get to what it is, okay, now I know this is truth, and fruition is last. Man himself, the thought of Allah himself, the truth.
The truth. You know
the
something?
Creator.
Now draw for this. Draw for this, right? So I'm gonna camelback ride with you, right? So belief is what man thinks perhaps is true. Okay, so ones get the lessons because we're here. We're here in the Moorish Americans of America. So ones get the lessons. They study the lessons. They sit inside Sunday school, and they bear witness to individuals who have taken these lessons and created for themselves a better life, better conditions. Okay, now where they fail to believe is in themselves, in their own ability to learn to apply the science, because more science, like the chairman always says, A. Griffin Hill always, it's an applied science. It's something that you have to do. This is not an AI. More science is not AI. You can't just, give it a command and then it do the work for you. It don't work like that. You understand what I'm saying? We is taught to be self-sufficient. Allah is the cherisher and sustainer of the world. And he created us in his image and after his own likeness. So we have to cherish and sustain our own world. We have to cherish and sustain our own ideals. We have to cherish and sustain our own aims and objectives and the route to them.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So this is where ones fail to believe. The failure to believe, put the belief in yourself. They're taking the step they came. Now, do you believe that you can take the next step? A lot of us, that's too high of a climb. Because there's a criteria.
Go ahead.
Drew Ali didn't just say that, everyone can come into the Moorish Temple of America and take up membership and register and be good, clean, faithful more. No, they don't work like that. There's a criteria.
That's right.
And we don't believe that we can be that clean and pure nation of people. All right, especially when we coming from where a lot of us come from. You know, like myself, I'm from the street.
Right.
You understand me? I'm from the street. I'm from some of the grimiest blocks.
Right.
I spent 2 decades of my life in prison. You see, so having this type of background, having this type of climb, that's a steep hole.
It's a climb.
Climb up out of in order just to get to the surface.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
So a lot of us, when I look back and I ask myself, well, what happened to all them brothers who started this journey with me? Why they're not here now? The reason why they're not here now is because along the way, they lost belief in themselves. They didn't lose belief in the prophet. They didn't lose belief in these lessons because they got their eyes on ones who are making their conditions better. They start to think that it's something special about you. Ricardo Bay is just so different. Then they start creating stuff.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? They start making up stuff. They start making up all type of reasons why you're different. You understand me? They just don't want to accept the fact that no, you're just contributing more effort.
Islam.
You're just trying harder. That's it.
Islam.
Because again, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America in chapter 1, it says that unnumbered foes will stand before the face of man, and these he must overcome, yea, overcome them everyone. So every single solitary foe we all got to face eventually.
That's right. That's
every obstacle that there is for the human to even come into contact with, we all are going to come in contact with it eventually. Every mountain, we all got to climb it. Every valley, we all got to cross it. No matter what it is, you understand me? It's going to find its way to the threshold of our door. Now, if we follow the instructions that we've been given, we got an instruction book. Whereas, how many people got a real instruction book?
Yeah.
I mean, that has been divinely prepared by a prophet for them. Okay? A lot of people got instruction books that got good stuff in it, but they weren't divinely prepared for them specifically. Therefore, it's difficult for them to comprehend these instructions. Well, this is written in a language that has been tailor-made for our comprehension.
That's right. That's right.
You see? And still to this day, I bear witness. I'm watching it. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Despite the Prophet Noble Ali teaching us that those who represent the lower self are those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching. I bear witness that Moors is still accepting their teachings willfully, knowing that the lower self is the devil. Okay,
man.
What do we? The lower self is the devil, and we already know that even though Allah never created a heaven or hell for us, He created a punishment for the devil. And we know what it is. Okay, we done had multiple prophets defining and outlining for us, and to the best of their abilities, communicate to us exactly what it looked like and what it feel like. And still ones is inviting themselves, taking themselves, and purchasing their way to this place. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know what it is, brother?
For it.
Islam.
And I ain't talking about they paying money, they paying blood, they paying sweat, they paying tears, they paying time, which the physical body is subject to time, Moors.
Subject to time, that's right.
It is. Okay.
Has a beginning and ending.
It has a beginning and an ending. And guess what? That span in between it that we call lifetime is valuable.
Yes, sir.
Okay? Because here he must tarry many ages until his lessons are all learned.
So the lessons all learned. That's right.
So you're going to tarry here for many ages and ages and ages intentionally, willfully? You're going to step over dollars just to get to dimes? You understand? I don't understand when the Prophet Noble Ali told us without a doubt or a contradiction, the lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale.
Not for sale.
He said, but you can receive it at an expense. So there is a cost. Okay, it's just that the renderer, the person who conveys the message, who confers the degree, the person who is initiating the initiate is not charging you nothing.
Right.
But in order for you to actually incorporate these teachings and to actually use these signs, these symbols, and these enzymes that unfold as you unfold, in order for you to use these demonstrations, you will have to pay a cost.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
I always said that cost is, you know, the cost is the old life. You got to give up the old life for the new one and come into the marvelous light of Islamism, like the Prophet said, Islam. But that's what it is. It's the familiarity of the lower self. You see, many are still caught up in not knowing themselves. And that's the first instruction Prophet gives us. Know thyself and Allah. Islam. Some circles of Moors say you can't have a God without having a nationality. And nationality is a part of knowing yourself. You got to know yourself from a divine sense and who you are as it relates to your nationality.
See, that's a head scratching demonstration, right? I got to scratch my head, okay? Yeah. Because language is important. That's all right. You know, we understand that everything that we communicate with or that we interact with physically is light. Okay, the light takes the forms that we see or hear, because we hear in the light. The light takes the form of the things that we interact with according to the vibration of the ether plane. So our language and the way we communicate is important, okay? And this is something that, as Moorish scientists, especially as responsible leaders within the Moorish Science Temple of America, we have to be careful what we put out on the ethers, because we don't want something to manifest on the ethers by accident.
Right.
All right. Because see, everything that Allah creates, He created it intentionally. Right. And the reason why it manifests in the way that He desired for it to manifest is because He first thought about it. See, thought is the cause of it all. So before we say things like a man can't have a God without a nationality, we have to think about what can be the result of ones who actually believe that. Okay, because see, Allah is infinite.
That's right.
Nationality is not. As important as nationality is, it's not infinite. You understand me?
That's right. That's right. 100%.
We all have the same father and mother.
That's right.
Okay, so the origin is important. We have to start teaching members and Asiatics in general who might not never take up membership. We have to start teaching them the truth about where they come from, so that they can know whom they're going to be returning to.
That's right.
Okay, the Prophet Noble Ali asks us a series of questions. Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the father of the universe. See, again, now remember we talked about the first step. These first steps in Sunday school, these first questions are the most important.
That's right.
Who made you? So before you start running around talking about somebody made you mad, or the devil made you do it, or something made you such and such and such, nothing can unmake what Allah made. Okay, Allah gave you control over the plane and soul. So if you decided, you know, to put yourself in an unfavorable situation, you decided. Now, guess what? Maybe you found yourself in an unfavorable situation by accident because you did not think. Okay, well, we have a whole Quran that instructs us that thought is the cause of it all. Okay, if you study and you reading, and as you go, you're gonna be like, dang, the thought. Jesus came into his ministry on the back of a thought. Do you not know that I must be about my Father's work?
Go ahead.
Now, on the back of that thought, he became what? A high priest by the order of Melchizedek. An order without beginning or ending. This is different. Okay? Now, there's some ones who know, and there's some ones who don't know.
Right.
But let he who has ears to hear and understand.
Let them hear. That's
that
right.
On the back of this thought, do you not know that I must be about my Father's work? On the back of this thought, he became someone who 2,000 years later, we still talking about, we still studying, whose life we still trying to embody for our own self because of the benefit, the result where I talked about it last Sunday at Sunday school.
That's right.
About the reward that Jesus received from Allah
Mm-hmm.
but living the life. A
Living life
massive
accordingly.
reward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A massive reward. So now we have to be very, very careful because thoughts manifest in various ways. But once we release them, ain't no catching up with them. This is one of the lessons that I take away from the Nation of Islam. You know, they talk about the speed of thought, 32 billion miles per second. They say that thought travels at 32 billion miles per second. Now we know it gotta make sense.
Yeah.
So we say, well, how do I benefit from knowing this? You know, what do I get out of knowing that thought moves that fast? Well, I can't travel nowhere near 32 billion miles per second unless I roll or ride on the thought wave. For one.
Yeah.
Okay. Number two, once the thought is released from my mind, ain't no catching up to that.
That's right.
So now we got to be careful with what we think. When we start thinking, man, next time such and so do something, I'm gonna kill them. You probably already killed them because you done put that thought out there, and you're not going to be able to catch up to it.
That's right. That's right. That's why the prophet teaches not to harm in thought, word, or deed.
Because it's dangerous, Mo.
Islam.
While at the same time, when we start putting them positive, affirming thoughts on the ethers, and we start riding them thoughts, because what did the prophet Jesus say? Let us forget the flesh and go with mind into the land of fleshless
things. That's right.
You see? So when we start to put these affirming thoughts, or when we start to send our thoughts out searching, okay? When we say send the thought, Mo, what you talking about? I'm talking about what Solomon did when he told them to go find out if these women were telling the truth about this baby. Send them thoughts out searching. Okay? Because they can do that. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America communicates that it's a vehicle. If you could go with thought into a land where you're not at right now, it's a vehicle.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
It also teaches us there's a workshop in the mind.
Workshop of the mind. That's right. Things are made of thought. When we build up character.
Well, it's a material. Okay? And whatever type of material you can think it to be.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we have to, in order for us to better our state, we have to conceptualize more science better.
Yes.
Okay. We have to stop, you know, something that I see. You know, I go on to YouTube and I look up, you know, I'm the master student. I'm a master student, not a master student. All right. With that being the case, I am continuously trying to learn. Well, I'm no longer in prison, so I don't have time to just devour books the way that I've read thousands and thousands of books. I can't do that no more. But they have this technology where I could just listen.
That's right.
So on YouTube and I put in and I listen to more science. And what I hear is I see people with turbans and fezzes on, and then they start to give us lessons from all over the place. And
everybody but the prophet.
Why don't you open the Quran?
Yeah.
break down chapter 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 33 or 34, 35, 36. You know what it is about law. They don't open it. They don't get the divine constitution and bylaws and start saying, well, you know, how do we actually use this? They get to opening up all types of, you know. I be like, Mo, what the freak that got to do with? I'm a Moorish American. So at the end of the day, if and when I decide that don't mean nothing to me, you can't hold me to that law. But you can hold me to the prophet's divine law.
That's right.
Anytime. I will be held accountable according to this.
That's right.
Okay. Now, the same thing. You need to learn when you proclaiming yourself as a Moorish American, and you, especially when you want to go into Rome's court. The Moors always want to go into Rome's court. I don't know why you want to keep going into Rome's court. Because every time I've heard, you know how many times I've heard the Moors, one Moor say they can't wait to take another Moor to court. And I be saying to myself, I be like, the Prophet Noble Ali said specifically,
Stay out.
Don't
Stay out.
take your brother into Rome's court, into the European court. I'm like, they really don't study the truth.
Isn't obedience the first step though on the 12-step ladder?
The first step.
It's the first step, right? Prophet, and to your point about you know, ones dressed in turbans, fezzes, going into all different types of literature. It's because ones take it for granted the size of it. They're looking at this, 48 chapters, couple, tens of pages long. Prophet gave us 3 pieces of literature: Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, gave us the 101s, and the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. And if you want to go in, if it takes you into other studies, cool, but get the foundation first. Because if you try to go into other books, you're going to get lost because you're not reading it from the proper perspective. And we know that perspective is everything. How we see, right? Even, look, what is that, chapter 7? With Prophet Jesus, he says that of wisdom, what have you to say, is the consciousness that man is off. That Allah and man are one. And naught is naught. That power is but illusion. That heaven, earth, and hell are above, around, below. So, fam, that's perspective.
That's right.
Somebody says, seek ye first, and all things will be added on to you. We're not just talking material, spiritual. This is spiritual food. All of this is being recalled, remembrance. We know that to remember Allah much means success for your life. So that's why the Prophet divinely prepared the pamphlet to remind us of Allah in all things that we do.
Right.
Whether we're at work, home, or on the street. See? There that go?
That's right.
Now you're the one that's consistent with yourself, like the Quran talks about. Where now men can rely upon thee, right?
That's right.
To do some work, right? To where you can be raised up from the ones around you to rule. Islam? So that's really what it is, man. Prophet is raising a nation of leaders. Leadership. We need more leadership. I have a book in the house that goes into leadership. It's called Leadership You. It says that the main theme of the book is leadership starts with you, but it's not about you.
That's right. That's the truth.
Simple.
That's the truth.
And if we just that mindset of you've been actually raised up to reach down and pull up.
That's right.
And put other in position, like we were talking about at the onset of the meeting, creating opportunity for our people. That's what it is. They don't got they feel like they don't have nowhere to go. Nobody supports them. Nobody's providing anything for them. But it's up to the ones that know, right? Because when you know, you're supposed to do better.
That's right.
See? When you're in ignorance, I can't hold you accountable for what you don't know. You just don't know. But when you know, now you're responsible for what you know. Now you are held accountable for the actions that you take, private and in public.
That's right.
That's how it goes. You see?
That's right.
And if you're part of this organization, guess what? Everybody's always watching. Everywhere you go, they're watching how you move. And that's why the Prophet, all throughout the instructions, right? We got to keep that conduct square no matter where we at. No matter where we at. Because guess what? Allah is always seeing. That's the thing about carnal man. Carnal man get caught up in the fact that other men don't see and forgetting the all-seeing eye. Wherever you are, there he is.
That's right. That's right. You know something? It's just to think about, how exactly what you said is true. I never forget when I started studying more science and I kind of stepped away from, everything that I was dealing with, and I started to, be an outsider looking in, right? And I would see, men stumbling around, bumping around, high, drunk, trying to figure out, how they was going to pay, debts that they had accumulated or, this, that, or whatever. Now, mind you, I'm in prison. Okay, right. So it's this little small sardine can that 1,000 or so people all live in. You can't hide anything, but people still try. You understand what I'm saying? People still try. And now I'm sitting there and I'm saying it's so much easier to be over here. I don't know who I am. But I had made the decision that I was not that guy. It was so much easier to be over here learning who I am, being around and in the safety of people who knew who they were. And I'm not talking about safety from, physical harm. See, the thing is, the Prophet Noble Ali said that the Asiatics in America need to learn to love instead of hate. We learn how to hate. We learn how to deal in the nonsense, right?
Yeah.
We just haven't learned how comfortable it is to be where you are beloved.
Come on.
All right.
Come on.
And when we get in those spaces, some of us, we have what the grand governors call trust issues. All right. Some of our trust issues go so deep that we don't know how deep they go.
Yeah.
And we get around all of the people who love us, who care for us, and who are doing things for us, and we question that. We are afraid to take the help that is coming from Allah through them. Okay, because his cares continue to us all and our love to each other.
That's
now,
right.
The Quran is telling us that Allah is going to do for you. He is going to do for you. He's going to do for us through us, though. So how can I make up in my mind that I am not willing to accept something from you? Knowing that if anything comes to me from God, it's coming through you.
It's coming through man. It's coming through. That's right. That's right.
So the Quran teaches us that it is in our benefit to be friendly to mankind because it's in our interest.
That's right.
That mankind should be friendly to us. So instantly, if I was not very friendly, I was not very humble at all. I'm still not that humble. Okay. I am friendly. I'm a friendly dude. You know what I mean, man? Man, you friendly? Yes, I am.
Right.
All right. But I was not at all a humble guy. Okay, but the second step is teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed.
Right.
I have a past where there are things in it that are shameful. Okay. Now I do not want to move forward in my life repeating these shameful acts.
That's right.
I want to no longer be ashamed of my actions.
That's right.
Now, in order for that to happen, I have to be modest. Now, there's a thin line because I am well trained. Okay. I have prepared for a long time to do this. Okay. And prepared in the field. All right. You know what they call the in the military, the field surgeon, the person who performs surgery on the battlefield where the injury happened, while the bullets and the bombs are still going off. That's where I worked at. You understand what I'm saying? So while these ones is working in the safety of these brick and mortar walls or behind computer screens all the time, see, this ain't nothing. This is marketing and advertising for me.
Right. Absolutely.
This is about as far as I can go at the time because I still got a house arrest ban on. All right.
Right. That's right.
Okay. But this is just the beginning, Mo.
That's right. The
Prophet Noble Ali was out there teaching more science and gangways and standing on milk crates and going to wherever he found individuals that had an ear wide open and a heart that was open to receive. He was there to deliver. You draw?
That's right.
So I feel like when the prophets say, imitate your prophet, that I have to imitate the prophet. I don't give a freak wherever my feet meet pavement. It's about more science. That's the order of the day.
That's right.
I don't come bringing a portion of this demonstration. I'm trying to give you all I got.
That's right. Okay? 100%.
Now, this is where we conceptualize uplifting fallen humanity. You can't wait for them to come to you. Oh, it's a whole lot of people who need us. And the reality is they ain't never coming into the temple.
Right.
It's a whole lot of sisters out there in the streets who need us. Okay, well, we're going to forsake them because they ain't never coming into the temple. We have to develop routes. We have to build those bridges that the prophet told us to see crossing in the sky.
That's right.
Okay, we know they there because they there in thought, but we have to create physical bridges that others can see so that they can cross, or at least we can meet in the middle.
There you go. And you know what it's going to take, brother? It's going to take being the message that you bring. That's for all of us. Being the message that we bring. That's the only way we could truly build these bridges. But you see, what happened a lot of time is many of us half message it and we burn the bridge in the process. You see, because we let that, once again, we haven't subdued that part of ourselves. We are still dwelling in the shamefulness of ourselves and the history and the past of the things that we've done. And I think that's where many people are at. They haven't forgiven themselves for the wrongs, and maybe they're not striving hard enough for purity in life, because that's what we're instructed to do, right? Turn away from sin and strive for purity in life. Prophet Jesus says, "Sin, go and sin no more."
Sin no more. That's right.
That's that opportunity that is given to each and every one of us every day to get it right.
That's right.
That's what that is representative of. But I think many are stuck in the past ways. You see, so but to your point, we have to build those bridges. We have to go out into the community. This is how we keep the prophet out front. This is how we imitate the prophet in thought, word, and deed. Is we got to go meet the people where they're at with the message so that they can see it. So they can, right? What did it say? When men see the light, walk in the light, they can be the light.
That's right.
That's belief, faith, fruition.
That's right.
That's right.
It. Okay,
we got to get it right first.
Okay, so we got some programs because I remember reading Marcus Mosiah Garvey. He said that when he first came to America and he encountered the so-called leaders of the Negroes in America, that they didn't have no programs for the people. They didn't have no programs. They didn't have no programs to help the people actually make their conditions better. Okay.
Right.
So with that being the case, we have programs, like I want to talk a little bit about the program that you are president of, the Five Principles Foundation.
Sure.
All right. This is good work. I'm reading the business plan, right now. I actually done read it 1.5 times. I ain't gonna say I read it because I'm dealing with technology. I got the computer reading it to me.
there you go.
While I do other things,
yes.
But
yes,
man, let's talk about that though. Demonstrate.
Islam. So yes, indeed. I'm the president of Five Principles Foundation. We are positioning the organization as the philanthropic arm of the Moorish Temple of America. And where it's all started, it goes back to, how back in the day, we would have our study groups, right? We do our study groups, bring people in, and we'll disseminate information, right? So it got to the point to where the group was asking, okay, so what are we going to do with all this now, right? What? How do we put this in action? And it was really, a lot of history, a lot on the temple, what was done in the past. And a lot of the question was, well, where is it today? You see? And so there was a small group of us, we got together and we said, what can we actually do that's going to be a value add to the Moorish Temple of America? And we came up with the name Five Principles Foundation. We didn't create it. We know that it comes from our highest 5 principles, which are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So we're just building on the great program, and we're extending the learning by creating the official organization so we can accept donation and go out in the community and provide these programs and provide the platforms to those in need of what we're providing. See, so the organization is dedicated to upholding, promoting, and teaching the 5 principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, just plain and simple. And we're going out into our communities because we know that our people need us the most, right? Who better to go to your own people than you? Right. You see, it's just as simple as that. And once to the point of when we know better, we're supposed to do better, and we're just simply taking initiative by creating these opportunities. So 5 principles, we have 5 different programs. One of the main program that we're spearheading right now is called the Oasis Farming Initiative. And really what the program is we're going to be teaching farming. We're going to be growing fruits, vegetables. We're going to bring local farmers in out there in Mobile, Alabama, where our secretary, Sister Diamond Slay L, is located. She's galvanizing all the different stakeholders, community leaders, different farmers from different counties, bringing them in so they can teach the skill set of farming, how to cultivate and grow your own food. And we're going to run it in conjunction with the school districts in that particular locale. And then from there, we're going to scale it out to the various different states where we have other Moorish Americans who want to participate and be a part of, the different programs that we're rolling out. So that's really the main one that we're spearheading, because we know that the majority of our people live in food deserts. It's just, It is what it is. And it's an unfortunate reality that our people don't have access to really good nutritional foods. We lack in nutritional education. That's the other part too, you see. And so when you lack knowledge, right? Know thyself, right? Well, if you don't know what to eat, to consume, to keep your body, maintain your body, and increase the health, right? The prophet said, what health is to the body, even that is honesty to the soul. If you don't know, you're going to accept anything, right? Sound familiar? Accept your teaching, right? You're going to accept anything. And then this is what lead into the disease and all the ailments that we see in our community. You see, I grew up, my great grandmother, bless her. She lived a very long life, but in the last stages of her life, she dealt with a lot of these ailments, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, high blood pressure, hypertension. She dealt with a lot of that. And a lot of that comes from when you don't know what you need for your body.
That's right.
Then, the unfortunate reality is if you stay on that, what they say, low vibrational food, and you continue on that path, then you end up taking insulin. You end up taking these things to supplement, because your body shuts down and it stops producing the natural chemicals that it needs to function and regulate itself in the right way. So this is much more deeper than just growing food. We're going in and we're changing the mindset, right? Building on what the prophet laid out, getting us to think again. Are we thinking about what are we eating? What are we consuming on a day-to-day basis? So, and I think the best approach to that is the approach that we're taking here, as far as teaching people how to do it themselves. What they say, give a man a fish, he eat for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eat forever. So that's all we're doing, right? And we are teaching our people Islam. So we're simply building on the Prophet's great program of uplifting fallen humanity. We have a few other programs. One is called, the second one is Men of Distinction, Women of Virtue, which is leadership and development. As we know, leadership is very necessary. And in the Moorish Temple of America, once again, the Prophet is grooming leaders. So we are extending that learning into the community, into the schooling systems, teaching the youth, right? We're starting middle school and up, and we're going to teach, these principles, etiquette, right? How to lead, how to think, and because the young ones these days, there's another program out there for them too. But we want to make sure that our program can get to them first.
That's right.
And we know that when we start them young and they grow, and then they unfold, then they're going to cherish and remember those moments, the memories, the learning. They remember, you see? And then what do? We know that each one's supposed to teach one. So now it starts with what they say. It takes one match to start a forest fire. So all you need is one. And it kind of goes back to what we're doing, right? It's like, we can teach a bunch of people, right? Will everyone get it? Maybe not, right? We hope, because hope is the beacon light. We hope everyone will get it, but we're dealing in reality. Will everyone get it? Maybe, right? But if you just get one or two, that's all it takes.
That's right.
One or two to create a ripple effect, because now that's going to change the generation. See? That's what the prophet is getting us to do. Change our thinking so the next generation can think better and be more progressive and take us further into a better future, for our posterity at the end of the day. You see?
I want to kind of show you how that the state of the time is calling for just those first two programs. I know already the whole program, but let's just just deal with those two. When we talk about the Oasis farming program, right? And we bear witness right now today how our people, catch minor colds or little minor diseases, and it's taking them down, because the body is already barely making it. Okay, it's like putting gas in the car, but the gasoline that you putting in your car is 15% water.
You
know, we know what that will do to your car. Okay, so we will not do that. If you accidentally buy some gasoline from this store, put it in your car, and your car starts responding to this gasoline like it's putting oxygen in your gas tank and water, and it's not operating right, you're not going to go to that gas station no more. Okay,
right.
But we are consistently putting poison food, poison drink, and other poisons into our bodies, the bodies that our soul has to ride in. Right?
Go ahead.
And that's then when something like a coronavirus comes and we start dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're barely making it already. You know, and this is something that I seen, man. I seen men with bags of medicine this big at 40 and 30 and 35 and 40 years old. These men might very well live to be 90. But can you imagine how many trips to the hospital? How many surgeries? You know, how many times do they have to suffer the consequences of forgetting to take their medicine on time?
Yeah.
How many times they have to suffer the consequences of this dosage not being enough no more?
Right.
Okay. So for 40 and 50 more years going forward, they have to suffer because of what they are eating, or because of what they ate, or what they didn't eat, or just wasn't available for them.
Right.
Because in many cases, like you pointed out, it's just not available. These good, healthy options are not available. All right. And then when we talk about leadership, okay, too many times in the Asiatic community, people are appointed as leaders because they possess the potential to be a leader.
Go ahead. That's right.
Okay, that's beautiful. Wow, they have the potential to be leaders. Incredible. Okay, but you're going to put my life, my well-being, the life and well-being of my family, the yet unborn, into the hands of people who only have potential?
Not good enough.
No. He said, out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. He said that they had potential. He said that they were being properly prepared for the mission.
That's right. To guide. Right.
To guide. So yes, the program, because you know where a lot of us learn when we first experience, being placed in authority, the gang is. Okay, well, the principles are different.
That part. Yes.
Leading according to these 5 high principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and leading according to the principle of hook or crook is totally different.
That's right. 2 different worlds. 2 different.
See, under one condition, I am bound morally to the principle of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am bound morally when I have to make my decisions. Now, my job is still to lead these ones into the best semblance of progress that could be manifested. Okay. Now, on this hand, well, I could just say, man, look, y'all, bro, we can just go rob whoever. We can just go sell some dope. We can just go do whatever thing to solve the issue of not having the money. Where on this hand, I can't do them. Them are not options.
Right.
So now we still climbing along this 12-step ladder. Okay. So now when we reach the 11th, the 10th step, he said, teach him benevolence and his mind shall be exalted.
Shall be exalted. Right.
Okay. This individual now develops the ability to produce what is needed morally. They ain't have to carry no baggage before Allah that they don't want to be carried before Allah.
That's right.
All right. So the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, he begins by saying, teach him obedience. Okay. He says that obedience to law is a fundamental principle. Loyalty to government is a fundamental principle.
That's right.
Tolerance is a fundamental principle. These are building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot go into the process of building dwellings for the sons of men without the building blocks.
There you go. There you go. Got to get the basics. Got to get back to the basics.
So this speaks to how needed this program is. I remember reading one of my favorite people. Listen, y'all. If for y'all people that like, that's on YouTube and you like going on YouTube and you want to get something, it's a man named Jim Quick. Mm-hmm. Jim Quick wrote a book called Limitless.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 books that I have ever read in my lifetime that I can say without a doubt that are better than this book. Okay, one is the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America. The other is the Great Quran of Muhammad. All right. There ain't no other book that I can say without a doubt or a contradiction that I believe is better than Limitless. Now, in that book, in Limitless, I'm gonna take a step back too while I'm talking, but in that book, he said, he quotes someone else, and he says that if you want to make $10 billion, then you need to solve a $10 billion problem.
There you go. There you go.
Now,
yes, sir.
The fact that our community lacks qualified leadership is an invaluable problem. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's invaluable. It's like that guy, Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince.
Right.
He was attempting to solve this same problem. Now, what did that do? But listen to what he did. Now, remember that as a Moorish American, we are bound morally by our principles. See, Machiavelli wasn't.
Right.
So Machiavelli made the prince reliant upon him so that he could have a free ride. The doggone prince couldn't take a crap without turning around asking Machiavelli how to do it. All right. Where the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, one of the members who followed the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, said this about the Moors. He said that Moors are men upright, independent and fearless.
That's right.
Independent. Mm-hmm. So we're not raising ones who are dependent upon others. Now, of course, we work well together.
Right.
Because we lack the vanity that would make us not able to work well together. While that being the case, we are effective alone.
That's part. That's right. That's right.
Okay.
That part. Mm-hmm.
So this is the difference between teaching one to truly be a leader. When you are just in authority because you've been appointed to a position, you ain't no leader, you a manager.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You ain't no leader.
Steward in the seat.
That's
Steward
it.
in the seat, man.
Now I want to backtrack. Okay. When we tell ones how important it is to study the prophet's lessons, inside of the prophet's lessons, there are arrows. All right. Right there on the cover of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, there's a circle with 4 gates.
Right.
Now, in the center is a 7. That 7, this podcast is not about us defining signs and symbols. Okay. But in the center of that circle, there's a 7, and that 7 has a special, very important meaning. Mm-hmm. So the object is to get to it.
That's right.
Well, there are 4 gates, meaning that there is not just one way to it. So when you go inside of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America in chapter 11, for instance, it says that Barada and Jesus together, they read the sacred books.
The sacred books, right.
So now if you study the Holy Quran, you should be studying the Holy Quran and saying to myself, well, let me go and read these sacred books that they read. Since I am studying them, I need to know what they knew. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you look at these places, Katak by the riverside.
Yep.
Okay. Benares. Orissa. Yeah. You need to go. Well, who are these people that he was talking to? What did they teach? What did he learn there? These ones who they call high priests. or masters. Remember,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Well, I want to know what were they masters of. So now, as Moorish scientists, we are not saying that, you know, one should not, you know, study these other materials, but inside of the Sunday school, you should be teaching what the Prophet Noble Jew Ali taught. All right.
That's right. That's right.
We have to make sure that these Moors are divinely prepared for what they are going to go out and have to deal with in the world. When we separate in the world, we need to prepare them to be able to remember, because it's a lot going on.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I know without a doubt or a contradiction, it's difficult to remember, you know, what you ate for lunch when somebody get to throwing five points combinations and you trying to avoid getting hit. You understand me? Man. So it's the reason why Matheno arrived to John when the crisis had came in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because he knew that his mission was going to depend upon him being able to go into a chaotic situation, and be the message of purity.
That's right.
That's difficult. Okay, it's difficult for one who has not been properly prepared and well trained, true leaders. Because if the teacher is going to leave a footprints clearly cut, which y'all could see, well, dang, well, what if they walked across the water? Or what if they walked across the volcano? Or what if it was the desert and the wind blowed and moved the sands around, but the footprints are still going to be clearly cut? Yes, they are.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right, brother. Oh my goodness. Like the leader has to be able to reach the people where they're at. Hands down. Hands down. And that's why we're instructed, communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for their own improvement. Hence, master student. You're always somewhere in between, but you're constantly moving, because you always going to have to reflect back. Right? You said reflection is the business of man. Reflect and be able to share from your own record book how the instructions, how you've applied it to your life, and the results and the benefits that is given to you. And then also in the position to remain humble enough to be taught by those who are further along the line than you are. That's just what it is. That's what makes a great leader. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, and being able to communicate, right? See, Jesus was a master teacher, man. I mean, when you look at chapter 10, right? Jesus spoke on the unity of Allah to the Hindus. He says, the universal Allah is one, yet He is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. Speaking their language.
That's right.
He's communicating the message to them in a manner in which they can digest it, in which they can comprehend it, to where we can come to that, to where we can come to that same foundation. And we know that the rock upon which man builds himself, Islam, we could come to that same understanding. Why? Because when I understand what we're discussing and you understand what we're discussing, now we can have a meaningful connection. Now we can have a meaningful conversation that has a direction or trajectory that should increase. You see, that should be that should be value add now. Now I'm adding value to you and you're reciprocating that. And that is how we're building and we're growing meaningfully together. See? Right. So that's what makes the teacher. And the Prophet Noble Jew Ali was that. I mean, when we reflect on his life, work, and teaching, look at the people he galvanized. You see his, the ones who patronized them in that day. You see, Europeans, other Asiatics, right? Judges, bankers, attorneys. He galvanized all these people because he knew that he knew that he could be a resource to them, and they could be resourceful to what he was establishing for us to be to benefit from, and him as our benefactor, right? So he knew the power and the strength in being able to leverage the efforts and the experience that others had in the communities where he was doing the work.
That's right.
That's real leadership. And
Absolutely.
he led them. They followed and believed him. They knew he was Allah's man. He was Allah's prophet. They knew that. That's why they sprung into action. You see, when you know that a prophet was sent to you, you spring into action. But you got to believe it first. If you don't believe it, then it's fancy words in the book that you're reading at that point. It's for nothing. You see what I'm saying? It's us that animate it. We got to bring it to life. See, we got to bring it to life and be the man. What did Prophet Jesus say? What did Noble Drew Ali say? He said that what I am, all men shall be.
That's right.
What I've done, all men shall do. Take it to the Bible and greater. You see what I'm saying? Greater things he shall do. You see? So when we know that to be true, aka when we have faith in that, then we can get to fruition, and then we'll see the manifest result of our actions because of our obedience and belief in the first place.
That's right.
So that's really what it's going to take, and the prophet, he talks about the handful, right? That's my mindset. Just a few good men. The Marine Corps took that. We just need a few good men and women, right?
Listen, let me tell you something. In any walk of law, in any walk of life, that's all it takes. That's all it takes. So communication is so key, right? You brought that up. Communication is key, and the elements of there's elements to communication. I give communication this definition. It's a thought exchange. All right. So now I desire for my thought to be understood by the person on the other end of the communication. That's the most important thing to me. All right. Is to be understood when we are communicating. Right. So leaders have to know and understand this. Whenever Jesus, think about all of the places where Jesus went and taught. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America. This is important. He taught in India, he taught in Africa, and he taught in Europe. And guess what? They all understood him.
They all understood him. Right.
Now, when we read in Acts, after Jesus had left, after he had ascended unto God, his disciples stayed imitating him and teaching. And listen to what it says in the book of Acts. It says that there were people from everywhere. It was Romans, Ethiopians, Arabians. It was all types of people. Yeah. And when the disciples spoke, they spoke in tongues. And it said that everybody understood them.
Everybody understood, right?
Because
speaking
they had learned this from the master, Rabbinah of the Rabbinah. They have learned it from the teacher of the teachers. How to communicate and meet people where they are. Yes. Think about it. Not only did he communicate to all these different nationalities, he sat down with the thieves, the courtesans, and the extortionists and communicated to them in language that they could understand.
That's right. That's right.
See, we got to know where we are and know where we came from. That's another issue. When we think about the state of the union, we're trying to unify, but we're trying to unify on a plane separate than the plane from where we are. We're right here on Earth. A lot of times, most of these temples are where? They are in the ghettos all across America. So know where you are. Know your people. Okay? We have people right now. I think I told you about this. I know I told Hornbuckle Bay. Me and Hornbuckle Bay were talking about this earlier today. When I was down, it was a Russian mafia guy named Mr. P. So Mr. P, he says to me, he say, babe, he say, you smart kids. He say, what you gonna do when you get out of prison? I'm like, what you mean? He say, I mean, how you gonna make money? You've been locked up a long time. Like, what you gonna do when you get out of prison? Now, in my mind, I'm thinking I had just met the guy yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, literally, he got off the bus yesterday and we having this conversation today, or he's initiating this conversation with me. But I'm saying to myself, like, why would I even tell him what I'm gonna do. But something told me just share a measure.
Still
So
small voice. Come on.
I say, man, well, one thing that I want to do is I want to start some delis when I get out. I want to sell sandwiches from all over the world. If somebody come from out of town or whatever, and they miss home and they want to get a sandwich, from their home or where they come from, they can get it, from my deli. I shared this thought with him, and he looked at me and he said, "I knew you were smart kids." He say it's people 6,000 miles away from your neighborhood trying to figure out how they can get to your neighborhood and sell your people food.
That's right.
He say, your people, go and see a house. Got the money for the house, love the house. Still turn around and say, how much is the house? He say, yo people, go and see a car. Got the money for the car, love the car. Still turn around and say, how much is the car? He say, yo people, go in a restaurant. Look up at the menu, say, give me that, and don't care how much it costs. And everybody in the world know that. And everybody in the world is trying to get to your neighborhood to sell your people food. Why in the mother freak ain't every temple in the Moorish Temple of America selling food? History tells us. All we got to do is reflect. Go back to Malcolm X when they was building the Nation of Islam. They built the Shabazz restaurant, took off. Right?
Go ahead.
That was just one endeavor, though. Now it was other things. But when you talk about food, shelter, and clothing, these are the things that the people can't live without.
Basic
Why
necessity.
are we allowing for people to come from all over the world to our community to provide our communities with the necessities of life? Whereas we right here, constantly having businesses meeting, constantly trying to figure out how we're going to solve this economic issue.
Right.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what's the problem. The problem is not that we don't have a means to establish financial engines. We definitely have the means because we live in a world where full faith and credit is given to all public acts. Right. So we definitely have the means to establish the financial engines. But who gonna work for you? We are a sick people. We are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. So before we can even establish these economic engines, because what we're gonna end up doing is going out to find other people to come and work for us because we can't rely upon our sick people. So we have to start to solve these moral issues. We have to start to instill in some of our people some discipline. We have to make our people, we have to solve the trust issues. Okay? We have to solve the trust issues because right now we just don't have the manpower, and I mean the qualified manpower. And Moors, when I start talking like this, Moors start looking at me like I'm crazy. And I be telling them, I'm like, man, are you paying attention? I mean, I'm looking around at a whole lot of people and I'm saying to myself, I wouldn't hire you. So when I build this business, you think I'm gonna hire you just because you got a nationality card? No, I'm gonna be going to Sunday school. Listen, I'm gonna be going to Sunday school, and I'm gonna be asking the Sunday school teacher to let me see his report card.
Right, that's right.
Because I need to know where you are along the way.
That's right.
If you are properly prepared to come and help to govern and run these establishments.
That's right.
Okay, so we have some issues, and these two programs that you just mentioned will help solve them because eating this poisonous food affects us mentally as well.
Yes.
Man, everything got it's massive amounts of sugar and starch, and the way these things get our brains running, it's difficult for us to control the monkey mind, the thoughts. It's difficult for us to control these thoughts. You understand what I'm saying? And then a lot of times, what happens when despair, if a little seed of despair gets planted, it blooms so fast because what do it engrosses much of it.
Right.
The heart, it engrosses much of it. And these are individuals who we supposed to hire to run these institutions that we building. Stop it.
Right.
Stop it.
We got to be real. We got to be real. We got to be honest where we are at. It's not where it needs to be right now. That's okay.
Right
now. We working on it. That
Yeah.
part. As long as we're moving toward it and we're working to become better. We always say 1% better a day, right? Look, don't shoot for 50% a day. When you do 50 one day, you're gonna do negative 100 next day. That's just how it goes. Progressive
1% better. That means we'll be straight 100 days.
There it is, right?
So we'll
There
be
it is.
straight.
What 100%, brother. 100%. And it's like we have all these grand ideas when really we what we need to do is we have to scale back and we have to reverse engineer how we get to the end goal. Right? I was told a long time ago, you want to start with the end in mind. Right? What is it? What's the vision?
That's
What's
one
the
of the
vision?
7 habits of highly effective people,
Islam, right?
Begin with the end in mind.
Begin with
Absolutely.
the end in mind,
That's
because
right.
you have to know what the destination is. Right? Prophet says, right? He talks about the destiny that is not uncertain nor unknown.
That's right.
He know what it is. He experienced it.
That's right.
So we have the same. He's given us the opportunity. We got to walk in the footsteps, clearly cut. All can see. Be assured that he went that way. The master, he went that way. And we got to pick up and take those steps. But reverse engineering where we want to be honest and transparent about where we're at. Because I think that's the other thing too, is we're not honest with ourselves. We all think we in fruition and doing the work, and that's not really the case. See what I'm saying? Because upon discovery, you'll find that we've been slouching, we've been slacking. See what I'm saying? I'm just using we generally, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's what leaders do.
Right. So we do have a lot of work to do, right? And we always talk about how that work is on self. Many of us we haven't scratched the surface yet. That's what it is. You see, you could be 10, 20 years in a physical building and never had been there.
That's right.
Where the temple, but we know the temple is not a place of meets and bounds.
No.
It's not a country to be reached. Islam. So you could be physically there, and your mind could be in Asia, worrying about everything. You see. So how we know that somebody knows a man is being what he knows, right? That's what the record say. If man must know, he must himself be what he knows. So we can tell who knows what. Because we're all being just what we are, just what we know, right? Being ourselves at the current point in time. We know that the true self is spirit, right? But we can all be only what we are at the very moment, at the very time that we're being. You see, so lots of work to do. We reverse engineer it. Have a scalable thing. Don't try to go out and do the grand ideas and
That's what
unfold
they call
everything one
smart
time.
goals.
There you go.
Specific, measurable.
Go ahead.
Achievable.
You got specific, measurable, achievable.
Rewarding.
Come on.
Time bound. Yeah.
Go ahead. Yes, sir. Yeah. Gotta be smart. Gotta be smart.
That's right.
You know. So, and it's one of those things. It'll take time, but we'll get there. My thing is, always work with the willing. Work with people where they're at. Prophet said there's work enough for all to do. You see? Right. So I work with people based upon where they're at. I put people, I have boxes. If you're in the A box, like we running. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of work to do. We in that circle, we movers and shakers. You in the B box, okay, you might not necessarily be doing what I'm doing, but there's something for you to do, and we'll figure that out. We'll figure out how to work together somewhere along the line. And then you might have the C box where, their thing, they just want to show up and be a part. And that's cool too, because you need supporters and sympathizers. So it's like that. That's kind of how I work with people, based upon interest and based upon how I see you moving at the end of the day, because we all have individual goals for our lives, but my individual goals is encompassed in the great program. Everything that I'm doing, even from a professional level, with the private equity, the real estate, the sports and acquisition, the real estate, all of that, I'm here teaching nationality and divine creed by being the message that I bring. I'm doing this type of work. I'm galvanizing people, and I'm teaching in the process. It's giving me an opportunity to connect with other Asiatics who might not have heard or seen the prophet or heard about his program. That's what I'm doing in these spaces while doing that specific work. And I know that it was the work that I was called to do because the opportunity showed up. I literally picked up the call. I literally answered the call. You see what I'm saying? So I literally, you know, and I don't mind. I could go into that really quick of how that happened, but literally the thoughts shape our reality. The thoughts. I went from the type of work I was doing as a consultant for, you know, a small financial services firm, and I was doing this thing from home, trying to figure it out. It was like a part-time gig that I was doing, but I was able to get a lot of experience in that space as it pertains to investments, as it pertains to credit, personal and business side of things, um, estate planning, trust law, trust and estate building. You know, I cut my teeth there. You see, and then maybe about a year into doing the work, I get a call from a former business partner of mine, and he had a client he was doing some work for, and he needed some assistance. And he called me. We hadn't spoken for over a year, but I picked up the call just to see what, you know, see what the brother had going on. And he needed assistance with the client. I agreed to do it. This gentleman flew us out to Houston together to meet him and to work with him. Come to find out, he's a former NFL player. And then it was through him, because we started talking about different business ventures and ideas at the time. And we were dabbling in industrial hemp. We were going to do a business around creating CBD oils and tinctures and cultivating hemp to create clothing, ropes, you know, things of that nature. We were talking like that. And he got super excited, and he started calling up his entire network. So we literally went from the thought, because that's where the bay leaf came from. This idea for this company came from. I came up with it on the spot at his house. This logo, I had a friend redesign it, but this is what I drew on a piece of notepad paper. And I showed it to him. He got excited. He started calling up his network. We went from an idea, I'm talking about in a matter of 15 minutes. We went from an idea to having the gentleman that can get us licensed in Arkansas to cultivate hemp. We had a processor on the line. We had a seed provider on the line. We had every individual that could make the thought a reality. We were in a conference call discussing this idea in a matter of 15 minutes. The last person to get on the line is my business partner today. That's how that happened. The last person, named Garrett Jones, he's probably watching, my brother Garrett. And this is back in 2019 when we first met initially. About a year and a half went by before we had any secondary follow-up contact. And I was doing the trading, investing, all this stuff at that time. And I reached out and I shared with him everything that I was doing. And this is how we started our strategic partnership. I went from being a partner to sitting on the board to then falling into a general partner in the investment fund, as well as business development for the holdings company. So that's how that happened. But you see, it couldn't have happened had I been the old me. You see, I've been practicing. I've been on the journey myself. So when men can see the light, walk in it, and be it, they see it on you. So they're going to gravitate towards you. And you know, he told me one time, he said, you know, in 5 minutes into speaking with you, I already knew how we were going to work together. And I said, how could he have known that? It's because of what he saw on me. I had been practicing. I had been growing myself. I had been thinking differently. I had been trying to improve my condition because I believe my conditions can be better. When people know that about you, they're going to do all in their power to assist you. They're going to do all in their power to aid you, to get you to where you need to be and create opportunities for you. So that's why I'm creating these opportunities, is because I didn't show up here just out of random. I showed up here because one man believed in me and he gave me an opportunity, and I'm now in a position to where I can give back through the Moorish Temple of America, through the philanthropic organization that we've set up here, because of the opportunities that were created. You see? So everything, all of my personal goals, my objectives is intertwined in this great mission of uplifting fallen humanity. You see, at the end of the day. So that's what this work is about for me. At the end of the day, this is a means to an end. The end is to create a safe space to where we can get to that destiny that is not uncertain nor unknown. That's what this is for me. That's what that is meaningful work to me, because as I'm toiling, that's what I have in mind. So I already know it's done. It's done. You know what I'm saying? So praise Allah.
Yes, that's what it's all about. You know, that's what it's all about. I love hearing it because I was there. I've been here for a while. Been close to 16, close to 6, 5 years now. I remember you always had the strive towards. You see, I stopped because coming into the Moorish Temple of America actually put the what am I moving towards? put that there. Because I was the same way. I was always striving towards. I just didn't know what was that. What was that? It was uncertain, But then when the Prophet Noble Ali came, then it became a certain destination. So now this energy is directed towards something that I can see. So and I'm putting my feet. I know that every step I take is safe because I just seen somebody go that way. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So this is what the Moorish Temple of America is supposed to be providing to every Asiatic who pays us any attention.
That's right. That's right. 100%.
And I'm gonna go even further because when the Prophet Noble Ali was on the scene, it is recorded that the Europeans followed them too.
Yeah, he said the Europeans helped me. Why not you?
Why not you? One European, it was recorded when the Prophet Noble Ali told the Moors to get their money out the European banks.
Right. That's right.
He told him in the stock market there's about to be a depression. Get your money out their banks. Well, it's recorded. None of the Moors didn't listen. But there was one European who did. And he came back, and what did he say? He saved.
Where's that man?
He said, where's the preacher?
right.
Hey, Cain say preacher. Like, man, we ain't got no preachers.
right.
The little man with the fez on. You talk about the Prophet Noble Ali where he changed. He changed.
That's right.
So with that being the case, it's just a beautiful thing. While at the same time, like I say, man, it's sweet. It's sweet in the mouth, but it's bitter in the stomach, because the prophet said that, in the plans for the betterment of mankind and promotion of plans for the betterment of mankind, there's ever opposition. So we know this. We know that there's going to be opposition. He told us where it comes from. And he's saying opposition comes from those who have no ideas and no courage to force attention to ideas. All right. So when you start talking about, endeavors like the 5 Principles Foundation, when we start talking about, success, the journey begins now. Ones, oh man, them boys ain't that ain't gonna woo. Well, I'm one of them ones that say, watch me. Hey, you muted, your mic went off. Hey, I'm one of the ones that say, watch me. We ain't got to talk about it.
Islam. I'm in my phase where I'm done talking. I've been working. You know what I'm saying? And I've been working selflessly, just to provide these opportunities. At the end of the day, I know that what we're doing, we can't do forever, but what we can do is we can provide for the next ones coming up. We can provide a roadmap for them to fall into and carry out the work, and they'll do the same. Right? The season is mine with the maxims of truth. Right? Let it not want cultivation. We starting them young.
That's right.
We grooming them to be upright, independent, fearless, care for their loved ones, and follow the prophet. That's it. That's it. That's why we have success. Keeping the prophet out front. Keeping them out front. That's it.
I want to speak to what you just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, corporations are created through government action, right?
Right.
Any type of corporation, it don't matter what kind, corporations are
Right.
created through government action.
Mm-hmm.
The creator of the corporation, the more intentional that they are about the creation aspect of it, then something you just said becomes a real reality. You said we can't be here forever doing what we're doing. But we know that the life of a corporation is in your hands when you create the corporation. It can be perpetual or it can have a length of time. It can actually have a lifespan. You can give it a lifespan.
Right.
You know, like when the Prophet Noble Drew Ali founded the Moorish Temple of America, it is perpetual.
Perpetual. Everlasting. That's what he said.
I mean, even the physical part was made immortal, perpetual. Okay. So it's perpetuated by us.
Right. That's
and
right.
Those who come after us.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
It's the same thing with these same foundations built upon the foundation of the prophet being very intentional and well planning the Moorish movement.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So now we have to be very intentional and well planned whatever it is that we do next.
Right.
All right.
100%.
So with that being the case, it was a pleasure. It always is a pleasure.
Always, brother.
We're gonna continue to do the prophet's work. Working. Marching and counter marching, lockstep together.
That's it. That's it. Praise Allah. Honestly, you, my brother, we've been locked in for some time, man, and it's been a pleasure to initially meet you, to learn, grow with you over the time, in spite of whatever condition or circumstances that you might have been in. We still stayed locked in through the entire thing. Like I shared with you off camera, I got to get grandma's voicemails to you.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
I gotta hide those.
When I was checking my phone, I was like, "Who's from Chicago?" I listened to. I was like, it's your grandma. She was calling me. The whole scenario. So I was like, "Wow, praise Allah." And then all the letters that I think I wrote you maybe twice. At that time, that's when I was moving to Arizona. But I still got all the letters and everything, man. I cherish that, my brother, and I look forward to all the great work that we're going to be doing here together. Praise Allah, honest to the Prophet, man. At the end of the day, we here because of what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali laid out for us, and we just gonna continue to carry out the work. Islam. Praise Allah.
With that, y'all know, and the crazy thing is I got I don't know how many podcasts I got no more. I just do them. I haven't been here for a while because we had we had some things going on, that demanded more attention. Right. And I had to be able to divide into doing these podcasts and stuff like that. But Allah willing, everything is getting under control and moving forward. We're gonna be on the waves, demonstrating more science, sharing, the principles of learning. This is the way we learn. This is how we learn. We learn together. We don't know everything. It's impossible for anybody to know everything. It's impossible because we live in a finite reality where things are changing, evolving, and but we master students. And with that being the case, we prepare to take in and learn any lesson. So with that being the case, we don't reach the time span. But I'm gonna say to everybody, it's late. If you like it, you like it, share it. You know what I mean? Communicating with your friends and family, whatever the case. I'll see you next time. Peace and love. I'm going outro.
That's right. I absolutely agree. Something that the Quran says. The Quran talks about heaven and hell. Not being places, but being actually states of mind. So what we learn in the Moorish Temple of America is those particular lessons and exercises that allows for us to master our minds. So in mastering our minds, we know that we actually create, our living conditions or our living mind space. My brother Shay Rayil used to always talking about, having the chaotic mind space versus the peaceful mind space and the ability to create this space for yourself. And as a Moorish American, somebody who knows themselves, they know that this ability, that this capacity actually exists within them.
Why? There's a real reason why so many people who have ill and babes and after their thing don't want to come inside of the temple. They don't study the Holy Quran or the Moorish Temple of America. They go out seeking out European grand sheiks. They go to YouTube to learn, these European teachers from the European textbooks, and they call it more science. The problem is that those whose job it is to teach them more science for real don't know more science for real. Because sons of this child, or at least that's what we think, but he's no longer a child. The transition has come. Okay? So now we here in the Moorish Temple of America come in as Moorish children despite our age. It doesn't matter how old or how young we are. Coming here for the first time learning these lessons, we children. But then the crisis comes, something happens, and despite the crisis, we develop and we grow, we unfold. And we go out amongst the bands of society. The bands of society, there are many bands in society. Every family, every group, every business, every corporation, everybody who comes together is a band inside of society, right? And only in the bands of society can we grow, and can society be transitioned and pushed forward out of the chaotic deep that we in right now. This low state. Because they have not obeyed the Prophet Noble Ali, who said to be a good Moorish leader, you must study the Holy Quran and the divine constitution and dialogue handed down unto you by our Prophet. Here it is, we have our sheiks, our adepts, our leaders of men, leaders of temples, studying everything but the Quran. They study everything but the divine constitution and bylaws. As soon as you come to them and say, hey, let's sit down, let's discuss law. They don't start talking about the divine constitution and bylaws, Act 1 through 7. They don't, that's not their idea of what law is.
Yeah. Exactly.